History. Jackson also implemented the spoils system, rewarding loyal supporters with government jobs. While this helped build a strong political base, it also led to widespread corruption and inefficiency in government. Perhaps the most controversial part of Jackson's presidency was his Indian policy. In 1830, he signed the Indian Removal Act, which led to the forced relocation of Native American tribes from their ancestral lands in the southeast to lands west of the Mississippi River. This policy led to the Trail of Tears, a tragic journey in which thousands of Native Americans died from disease, starvation, and exposure. Though Jackson argued that removal would protect Native Americans from extinction, the policy has been widely condemned as inhumane and unjust. It remains one of the darkest chapters of his presidency. Jackson also faced a major constitutional crisis during the nullification crisis with South Carolina, which declared it had the right to nullify federal laws it disagreed with. Jackson firmly opposed the idea, asserting the supremacy of federal law. He threatened to use military force if necessary, and the crisis was eventually resolved through compromise. Despite his tough demeanor and populist image, Jackson was a wealthy plantation owner and enslaver. His personal wealth grew significantly during his lifetime, and he owned dozens of enslaved people at his estate, the Hermitage, in Tennessee. This aspect of his legacy is deeply troubling and remains a source of criticism to this day. Jackson served 2 terms, from 1829 to 1837. He declined to run for a 3rd term and was succeeded by his chosen successor, Martin Van Buren. After leaving office, Jackson retired to the Hermitage, where he remained an influential figure in politics until his death on June 8, 1845. Today, Jackson's legacy is deeply mixed. He is praised for his role in expanding democracy and standing up to entrenched elites, but he is also condemned for his treatment of Native Americans and his support for slavery. His portrait remains on the $20 bill, though there have been calls to replace it due to his controversial actions. In many ways, Andrew Jackson was a man of contradictions, both a champion of the common man and a symbol of harsh oppression. His life and presidency reflect the growing pains of a young republic struggling to define itself. History. Andrew Jackson was one of the most influential and controversial figures in American history. Born on March 15, 1767, in the Waxhaws region along the border of North and South Carolina, Jackson came from humble beginnings. His parents were Scots-Irish immigrants, and his father died just weeks before he was born. Jackson's childhood was marked by hardship. During the American Revolutionary War, at the age of just 13, he served as a courier for the militia. He and his brother were captured by the British. While imprisoned, a British officer struck him with a sword after Jackson refused to polish his boots. The blow left a permanent scar and fueled a deep hatred for the British. His mother and brothers all died during the war, leaving him an orphan by the age of 14. Despite his early struggles, Jackson studied law and became a successful attorney in Tennessee. He quickly rose through the ranks of society, purchasing land, becoming a judge, and eventually joining the military. His bravery and leadership in battle would soon earn him national fame. Jackson's most celebrated military achievement came during the War of 1812. At the Battle of New Orleans in 1815, he led a small, diverse force of soldiers, frontiersmen, and freed African Americans to a stunning victory against a much larger British army. The battle took place after the war had officially ended, but news had not yet reached the battlefield. Regardless, Jackson was hailed as a national hero. This military success catapulted Jackson into the political spotlight. In 1824, he ran for president for the first time. Although he won the popular vote, no candidate received a majority in the Electoral College. The House of Representatives chose John Quincy Adams as president instead, in what Jackson and his supporters called a corrupt bargain. Jackson was furious, but determined. 4 years later, in 1828, he ran again, and this time he won by a landslide. Jackson became the 7th president of the United States in 1829, ushering in what became known as the Jacksonian era. He was the first president who truly rose from the common people, and he promised to represent the voice of ordinary Americans. Jackson's presidency was defined by strong leadership, fierce independence, and fierce loyalty to his supporters. He expanded the power of the presidency, using the veto more often than all previous presidents combined. He was known as Old Hickory because of his toughness and determination. One of Jackson's earliest acts was dismantling the national bank. He believed it gave too much power to a wealthy elite. He vetoed its recharter and moved federal funds into state banks known as pet banks. His opponents saw this as reckless. His supporters saw it as standing up for the people.